going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 70, not 17. This is Chris, aka not Chris, aka Bash Me Outside because I don't fight, I just get beat up. Aka Lil Poopy Dirt, aka Dr. Do Too Little, aka it's not me, it's not you. We're just going through a tough time right now. Aka Bash Me Outside because I don't fight, I just get beat up. As always, I'm here with Navik.
Hey, it's Navik, aka Navape, aka Mr. Romp on Your Girl, Say Hello Then Run Away, aka the Tamil Tyrese, aka To Cockshipper, aka Please Talk to Me. I don't know where I'm going right now and I need someone to take me somewhere and throw me away. And we have some amazing guests here today.
Great intro, man.
We gotta go back to that Tamil Tyrese.
Yeah.
We gotta get back to that one.
We gotta
That
get
one,
back that one.
yeah.
But before we
You know they call
do,
me.
first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having us on.
Oh, man.
No, really,
You're very welcome.
this is a long time in the making. I've been wanting to be on this with Latifah, but let me just introduce myself.
Please.
My name is Hadi, aka just to kind of follow the
Please.
trend,
You have to.
aka Packy Boy, aka Packy by night, Caribbean by. I messed it up, man.
That's
Packy
okay.
by
Rewind.
day. I'll restart it.
Oh, shit.
I'll restart. Is it good though?
Yeah, absolutely. Can everyone
All
still
right.
hear themselves? Perfect.
All right, so this is Hadi, aka Packy Boy, aka Packy by day, Caribbean by
I
night.
gotta ask you about that one.
We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about it. Don't worry. Aka, it's your boy, man. That's all I gotta say.
Wow.
That's big.
That's all I get.
I just have to, go with the trend, man.
I like that.
And Latifah, do you want to intro
All the
yourself?
time, babe. All the time. Hi, guys. I'm Latifah, aka Chief Teef, aka Teef, aka
Queen Teefs, man.
Queen-
Let
oh,
them
how
know,
can I
man. Let
forget-
them know, Queen
How can I
Teefs.
forget about the best one, Queen
Yeah.
Latifah?
There we
Put
go,
some respect
man.
on my
It's fine.
name.
There we go.
Actually, put some respect on me, to be honest.
Please.
I'm the queen, but
We're in
that's
need of
me.
some respect.
Yeah. Actually, though.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
There you
Also,
go, man.
just for those who do know me, do not say my last name in public.
No?
This weekend, someone referred me as, I will not say my last name. And
Okay.
I was like, why are you giving people my full name?
Oh.
How
Govey.
about if I'm like doing something illegal?
Oh.
Or,
okay.
not that I am,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You never
Just in
know.
case. Yeah.
There might be a
Um,
time where you need to.
just please say my name is Teefs.
Teefs.
When you introduce me.
Okay, yeah, no
Okay.
sweat. No sweat. I
Just-
will
just-
certainly do it. We'll say it. We'll stick to it. Sometimes we give out gubbies on the show, but we always make sure we ask. So thank you for bringing
No,
that
it's
up.
okay. I'm okay with saying my full name.
Okay, fair enough.
She's fucking with y'all.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like to say my full government name so girls can Google me.
That's a smart thing.
Yo,
Just so you
let
know,
them
I
know.
didn't realize people do that. That they actually Google
People's names.
you,
Like employers?
not employers.
Oh,
We're
okay,
talking
not
about
employers.
Oh,
prospects.
Oh,
We're
prospects.
talking about
Yes.
people who
Ooh.
like you,
Potential.
Google
100%.
you.
100%.
Love
Like my
letters.
friend was looking at somebody that I was talking to and Googled them and found everything about them, and I was like, oh wow, I feel very uncomfortable about this. She was like, yeah, but you'd rather know all the gist
Would
of them,
you?
and I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to know.
Really,
everything.
eh?
Yeah, I don't want to Google somebody.
I think I would do that.
If they Google me, I'm done.
I mean,
Why?
whatever.
Why?
What are you
That's up
doing?
to
I mean, like I do back in the
yeah.
day
Latifah
when
knows.
I used to
Yeah.
have my crazy moments
yeah.
and like do crazy videos. I was like,
Oh, you have a YouTube history.
I do have a
Okay,
YouTube
okay.
history. Yeah, I don't want anybody Googling
That's fine.
me.
That's okay. We definitely won't. YouTube after.
Right after the show,
Yeah,
makes
right
a
after
note.
the show.
Google
Do
Latifah.
not.
I'm just gonna use a washroom. Just check it out, huh?
Also, quick shout out to Vin. I had to take down some stuff that I wrote online, and they had a lot of F's, had a lot of B's.
Oh, a lot of swearing.
F's as in ucks,
Oh.
Oh.
fucks, and
Yo, spell it out for the
Oh.
people, man.
for those of the people I don't know how to spell,
FCUK.
not the other one. Now I had a lot of those articles, and to actually get hired in my current job, I had to tell him to change my name on those articles. And
Really?
he graciously did that for me, and
Shout
then
out
I
to
got
our
a
good
job.
friend Vin. Wow.
Yeah,
And look at
you
you
know.
now. You're flying.
Always.
Always.
Well, yeah. Shout out to having internet backgrounds cleared
Yeah,
up.
for sure.
Clearly, there's some of us who
I still
are still running from our past.
Yeah.
Some people.
I'm not
just
really running,
went
but it's like I definitely like if you Google me, like there's a lot.
Yeah?
That you would be like, what's wrong with this guy?
really?
For real?
Yeah. There's definitely like some we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I'll
Like-
show you to revisit. Yeah,
Like Facebook?
Facebook. There's a
But
lot
you
on Facebook.
but on Facebook you have like your private.
I'm not private at all.
Oh.
Yeah, I should be private. I'm not. Everything's public.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's out there.
That's
man.
an honest way to live.
Yeah, I
Bit
don't
of
mind. I
transparency.
embrace my past, man.
Yeah.
Just to show people where I'm coming from.
That's fair.
No,
That's fair.
Latifa doesn't agree.
I'm like no.
No.
We
is
didn't
what
actually
it is.
properly introduce the two of you, but both Hadi and Latifa are hosts of a wonderful podcast called Two Peas in a Pod. We've been meaning to sit down with the two of them for a fair bit of time now, and I guess we're kind of treating this as like a crossover episode.
Yeah.
Where if the two of you want to share this, on your platform, please go ahead.
100%.
No,
man.
of course, this will be on.
But
our
on
platform.
top of that, originally we were like, yeah, we'll prepare some stuff the same way you guys do it, the same way we do it. And both of us came to this episode, we didn't prepare shit, but that is okay
That's the beauty of
because
it, man.
that's the beauty of it. Because this is an honest representation of who we are as humans,
100%.
disorganized, reactive,
Yep.
unthoughtful people.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
So
And I think it's more genuine when it's not like fully fleshed out and
That's
prepared.
right,
You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? We just say what's on our mind.
exactly,
I know there's a lot on Navik's mind.
always.
We get raw reactions in real time,
Yeah,
Damn.
like
exactly.
CNN. So,
You're
we're-
even holding the mic
Yeah,
like a
like a-
CNN
like a
reporter.
CNN
It's
reporter,
amazing.
I'm on my Wolf Blitzer.
Oh wow.
You guys know I know who Wolf Blitzer is.
I don't know who. Wolf
I
Blitzer is.
don't,
I'm gonna
but-
come clean.
It's the white guy.
which one?
There's so many.
It's the white guy with the gray hair,
Isn't that
with the
Anderson Cooper?
glasses.
No.
Oh, I was
No,
gonna
with the
say that. I
glasses.
thought that was
He's a little bit
Anderson.
older than Anderson.
Okay.
A little bit older.
The team and I clearly, we're not keeping up with the CNN here, but either way, something that I do want to ask the two of you about is, for the people who are listening to this episode who most likely are not familiar with Two Peas in a Pod, what's like your elevator pitch for Two Peas in a Pod? If someone's like, oh, hey,
nice.
what's your podcast about? What's like the short and sweet description of what it is?
I guess like two best friends coming back together and catching up.
Okay.
That's pretty much what it is. Like,
Amazing.
I think the context is more of like two international kids living in a Western society and talking about certain topics and putting our perspective on it. So
Yeah.
it could be on music, it could be on race, it could be on, anything. And it's like we're both international kids, but also we're both in different industries. So like I'm more in like business side of things in the sense of like that's where I went, that's what I studied, that's where I'm at. And, Latifa's more in the creative side of things. So it's very interesting to hear both of our perspectives
Right.
on a similar topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what it's all about, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And as you kind of mentioned, two of you are kind of like exploring and understanding like Canada from the perspective of someone who wasn't born here, who didn't grow up here either. I know the two of you have traveled and have lived in very many places.
Yeah.
How many points in your lives have the two of you lived together? And where in the world was it that the two of you were living together?
so we live together in a small little country called Qatar.
She said it
It's-
properly as well.
Yeah, we
Let the
gotta-
people know, yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
not
butcher
gonna
the name.
whitewash
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yes.
Qatar for the
Yeah.
for the-
Qatar.
That's right.
It is close by to Dubai. If you don't know what it is,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
also hosting the 2022 World Cup.
very controversial.
Boom, boom.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
That
the
one
time,
right
man.
there.
Yeah,
That one
yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
So we was it like 10 my ninth grade.
Yeah, my 10th grade.
His 10th
Yeah,
grade.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What is when I first met him.
Okay.
And then I was like, what, 9, 10, 11, 3 years we were in the same country.
Yeah, 3 years. We basically like met each other from a mutual friend, really. And then from there, it kind of kicked off, man. Really close. And it's funny because when we would hang out, we would always have an idea of creating some form of content, YouTube, even a podcast, something similar to that. But it just never came around to it. It was just, I think we were just like, I don't know if we were inexperienced, but we just didn't know how to like even produce something.
Right.
And then, Latifa went on to England. I went to Vancouver, BC.
Oh,
Shout out
shit.
to
Okay.
Vancouver.
So
Yeah.
you came to Canada a lot earlier than
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I was in Vancouver for like 4 years before I moved to Toronto.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here for around like 5 years now in Canada. And,
Right.
but it was just convenient. Like when I moved to Toronto, Latifa moved to Toronto around the same time.
Word.
And again, we kind of like picked up where we left off, where we were in Qatar. And we're like, yo, man, like, let's just do it, man.
Yeah.
And podcast was like, you already had some experience with it, right?
Yeah.
Like you were doing a lot of radio
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
in England. So
Yeah.
she had a lot of experience already, and she was like, "Yo, let's just do it." And here we are now, episode 10. I guess this collaboration.
Yeah,
That's
for
right. Count
Yeah,
as
yeah.
episode 10. Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. If this
Yeah.
counts as episode 10, this is celebratory. All
Yeah,
around,
for
you know?
both, for all of us.
10 is a milestone.
Yeah.
It is.
70 is a
Boop,
milestone.
boop, boop,
We're here.
boop,
Yeah,
boop,
yeah.
boop. Yeah, for
But,
sure.
100%,
In that
man.
case, thank you for joining us for this very momentous occasion.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Um,
us.
Because it's maybe worth reflecting a little bit. You know, what's it been like doing onto your 10th episode now? Clearly, this one is just
Yo, no,
a
this one's
tornado,
massive.
but-
Yeah, this one's a big,
For
big,
sure.
big one. For
Would you
I
say
think
it's the
it's crazy. 'cause
Biggest
oh, I
It's
don't
the
know.
Navig?
ever? Or
You know what, man? We're
Big-
still we're starting off, so I don't want to say ever.
possibly of like your 10, maybe 200 more episodes.
This will still be the biggest. Yo, man.
Who
100.
knows?
Oh yeah,
100.
I don't know. It's just an idea. It's just a content I'm throwing out there.
As a
yes,
content
the
creator.
There we go.
Let's not forget.
Oh, by the way, because this happened during our last podcast, but I thought that thoughts are no longer thoughts for content creators. It's just content.
Wow.
Let that sit.
Yo,
Everything in
drop that
our
bomb.
brain is just content coming out.
Wow.
Do you know what that makes sense?
That actually makes sense, man.
Yeah.
He's speaking facts.
Think about it. Yeah, you don't need YouTube. You don't need Twitter. You don't need podcasts. You just
No.
need your thoughts.
Fire.
Yo, wow.
Fire. That is fire.
Literally, that's all I
Honestly,
can
I
say.
just this just comes to me like when you reach this level of pottery,
don't
Like-
bring me into this.
when you become this huge pod star, and everywhere you go,
humble
people
yourself, Mike.
take snaps and pics. Oh, you're on the pod.
No,
hey,"
no,
and then
no,
you're
no.
like, bro,
This guy
please chill.
definitely lives in an imaginary world.
I said, please chill, sir. This is a Burger King. Get out of here. All right.
Families come here, please. Respect yourself.
People are
and-
taking photos in Vic, and Vic's like, "Oh man, this podcast blowing up." Little does he know, he's just got like tissue paper hanging out his ass.
Literally, exactly.
Sort himself out. He's just going on with six
Oh.
buzz, and he's like, "Oh, it's crazy. Fame is a crazy thing, you know. If you knew what fame would do to you, would you still want it?"
That's Navig.
Truly,
My life is a zoo.
that's right. No, your life is I feel like I saw someone tweet this. My life is a podcast, bro. My life is a podcast. That's truly the world.
That's
I live
actually
in.
so funny. I think I saw a tweet one time that was like, it's a conversation where you and your friend are in the house and you have a conversation. Bro, we should make a podcast.
Yeah,
That's like
100%.
literally how it started.
That's basically how our
Like,
podcast
Pretty
started,
much.
yeah.
It started and I was like, oh wow, attacked, but like also that's true.
But also,
But
we're
also
here.
true.
You're 10 episodes deep. You
Yeah.
can't turn
Yeah.
back.
No,
Exactly,
Yeah, we're
exactly.
too deep into it. But
That's right.
having said that, 10 episodes in, I'll kind of talk about my reflection
Please.
on like 10 episodes in. Honestly, it's great, man. It's nice to come together basically every 2 weeks. We come together and we talk about a certain topic and just get her perspective on it. I share my perspective. But more importantly, it's nice to hear, like now we're 10 episodes in, we get people like our friends and families reaching out. Some of the people that we've known since high school, but we haven't talked in a long time. And they'll reach out and be like, hey, I was listening to your podcast, really related to it. And that's what it's all about for us, at least, like trying to connect with our community, with our friends and families, and talk about certain things that, and just share our perspective on it, really, and just see what other people, if they resonate with it. So it's really nice to like actually engage with the community, but also get that feedback. It's really nice, right?
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I just find it wild that we started this in like April.
I
and
know.
September.
Yeah.
I obviously had a past with podcasting
Right.
and with radio and stuff, but I find it a lot better and easier to go back and forth with somebody. When you're doing it by yourself, it kind of gets like, oh wow, I'm just talking to myself basically. Who really wants to listen to me? But when you have someone actually have a conversation, you can see that other people enjoy it too, because you're like, oh, I feel like I'm there with you and the other person, and I'm just listening in type of thing. And
That's
people
right.
are kind of like prone to say, oh, when I'm listening, I kind of want to be like, oh, I want to talk. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really talking, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. And especially when you bounce off somebody that you already know, it's super comfortable. But yeah, it's wild that we are 10 episodes in.
It's wild, actually. though.
we should also humble ourselves. It's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, I
like,
know,
it's
I
not
know.
like
We're making it
it's not
seem
like
like-
it's like 50
like
or 100.
70 like you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like it's just it's like a baby project to both of us. And it's just like kicking off
Yeah,
for
yeah,
now,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Well, listen, you're raising this child well.
yeah,
I think so, man.
know.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like it's
That's
my
good.
baby.
You know,
I'm
you
like,
gotta affirm yourself in that sense as well, right?
yeah.
I'm sure the two of you are familiar with Jesus and Mero,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Bodega
Yes.
Boys podcast. So, I mean, they play like a massive, I guess, like influence when we started out, but like they're also just people that we've enjoyed for a very long time. And was it 2 years ago that we saw them live?
You saw them
Yeah.
live?
Yeah, so they did like a little live tour when they were still on Viceland.
Nice.
So Nivek originally saw them in Montreal,
Okay.
and
Nice.
then was it like a couple months later, or like the next month they came to Toronto?
Yeah, it was probably like a couple months.
Yeah, so I guess
Nice.
along their tour or something. So that time, Nivek, myself, a few other mutual friends, Amit, Chris, Ahmad, I think even Denke was there. We all went. I think you had said that it was their show in Montreal was funny, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all off the cuff. So
That's right. It's like
I
straight
mean, still, it's
improv stuff,
amazing.
so it's kind of hard. And I think
Yeah.
they were like really playing into the whole like what's so good about like Toronto in comparison to like other places, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Like really playing into like Toronto slang, whatever. So it was still good, and it's always fun to like hear these like American comedians lay into that. But either way, it definitely became a bit gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, they did a Q&A, and someone came up and straight up was like, "Hey, I'm about to start a podcast. Like, what's your like one piece of like advice for us?" And I think it was Mero who basically was like, "Commit to 30 episodes. Just like
Oh, really?
fight and like push until you get to 30 episodes, because at that point, it becomes automatic. You're like,
Yeah.
yep, let's like we'll get together. You know your process by that point. You know what works and what doesn't work for
Yeah.
you, and then it's just like." Because I think his point was you want to just keep doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, it's so easy to just like get washed away in the
Yeah.
wind.
Yeah.
So listen, 1/3 of the way there.
I
Yeah.
know,
Appreciate
it's
that.
crazy, but it's
But
like
you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that the crazy thing about like podcasting and continue to podcast, it's like worrying about like what topics they're going to talk about and how redundant they become. And you're
Yeah,
like, oh
it's true.
damn, what are we going to talk about the next episode? Oh
It's
shit,
tough,
like
it's
we
tough.
talked about this, da, 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 da,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think like the more we do it, the more I'm like, oh, like there's endless things
It's
to talk
endless.
There's
about,
so
even
many
if they're
things,
the
yeah.
weirdest thing.
Yeah.
You manage to find something to talk about, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's so interesting you say that, because like sometimes we'll have a topic, but like sometimes I feel like, man, I don't know if we can talk about this for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and we end up talking for like 2 hours, and we're like,
Yeah,
damn,
absolute
man.
foolishness, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And that's the whole beauty of it, right? Like it's like literally, like I said, like our goal was to just come together every 2 weeks, because everyone's busy, man, like with their life and whatnot. So it's nice to come together and just like debrief
Yep.
about, you know, not just a certain talk, but just like about our lives,
Mhm,
man. And
mhm.
then have that within the podcast as
Totally.
well. So it's nice, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to ask you guys though, if I can,
Yeah.
ask a
of course.
question. You guys are 70 episodes in. What, like, why did you guys start? The
Why did we
podcast?
start?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a great
yeah.
question.
I'd love to hear
I'm
that.
gonna pass the mic to Navik on this one.
Why did we want to do the
Yeah.
podcast?
Give me the philosophical answer, because I know you're gonna get deep.
I don't know if this is gonna be a real answer
I
or
don't-
not.
I
So
don't
I'm just
know.
gonna.
Honestly, I'll give you the truth.
Yeah. give me
Okay, it was early 2016, and I had all this material inside me. I had all these words, these verbs, these nouns, just basic grammar shit. but I had it in me, and
god.
I wanted to share it, and I wanted to get it out there. And yeah, I wanted to just do something, because I wasn't doing anything up until then. I would talk a lot, and that's something I always did. I used to always say, I'm gonna do this, but I never did any of it.
Mm.
And podcasting felt like it's real, like you can actually hear it wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to touch pod fame.
You wanted to touch what?
Pod fame.
Pod
Pod fame. Yeah. Okay.
I wanted
Pod
the DM.
fame.
I wanted the DM DM.
to
sorry,
blow up.
You wanted to, have
to
a-
swell up.
to DM mudslide.
Of
And
course,
that's why you go by Tamil Tyrese, I assume.
that is one of the monikers.
Mm.
But unfortunately, as podding went on, more men would actually DM me.
Oh.
Memes, different photos, funny
Got it.
beans,
Damn.
photos of beans.
Damn.
I get some exclusive bean content from my bean man. If he knows If you know, you know.
I don't even know
But back
this is.
to sorry, I've been going around. I linked up with Krish maybe earlier that year.
Yeah, around May.
As
Around May of 2016.
we were cousins and we had similar ideas and we like similar things.
Oh, you guys are cousins?
Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah,
cousins?
we're second cousins.
What?
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now I know.
That's
So-
crazy.
Yeah. So people who've listened have probably heard this a million times. But long story short, we like didn't see each other for a very long time, and then we probably saw each other again when we were like 2021. We're like, oh shit, we have a lot in common. We got back in touch, and then Neve kind of hit me up. I think at the time I was doing a radio show at my university, and yeah, I think that was something that Neve might have. Yeah, he definitely listened to, and just kind of reached out. I was like, yo, I know you like doing this. Like, this is something that I want to do. And then we just kind of brainstormed. We're like, yeah, like we felt like on one hand, it's like, yeah, it would be a great outlet to just like talk, to interview people. It would be really cool. It would be a great outlet for comedy. I think an underlying theme for us is like, just like providing a space for like, Tamil kids as well to just like not feel like there's like a status quo to kind of live by. And then it's just evolved like over time, like eventually we're like, oh, you know what, this would be very important place to host conversations about mental health. This would be a good place to talk about gender identity. We talk about race, to talk about like all sorts of things, while like still kind of keeping this like comedic lens. Because like I think at the end of the day, like that's what makes it easier sometimes. And needless to say, like we have some more like serious episodes, but for the most part, that comedy is just kind of like always being this underlying thing, even if it's only like a couple laughs in an episode. It's something that I would definitely give the crown to Nabek on that, for like finding a way to bring that full circle in the episodes. But yeah, that's kind of how it all came together. Yeah, still growing, because like we don't know what we're doing.
I think it's important to have some comedy, and even when you're talking about something serious, I don't know, like a lot of comedians do that as well. Like for me,
Dave Chappelle.
I was gonna say literally, like I don't know if you guys saw his special.
Oh yeah, did you?
Oh my
First
god.
joke.
Yeah, I watched it.
Exactly. I saw the newest one. And like I don't know, a lot of people said that it was really unfiltered, very raw. He talked about very sensitive topics, and it's like, yeah, of course, like these are serious topics, but like as a comedian like him, it's nice to not poke fun, but it's like there's this certain element of like talking about a serious topic, but in a comedic way. It just I don't know how to explain it, but it's like
I think
go ahead.
the way that someone described it to me is that like, yeah, if you think about like what like a jester like in like medieval days, obviously we're sticking to like this European narrative, but in like medieval days, the jester is like the only person who can make fun of the king and not have their head cut off.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about that, and that's like this context of like, yeah, what a comedian is now, it's like they're the only one that can kind of like go after these things that like, or can go after, or like should go after, or whatever it is, that are like, that are sensitive, or maybe like spoken of at like a higher level. But needless to say, that like that line has been blurred. I think a lot of comedians have like fucked
for
that
sure,
up and
for
like
sure
gone overboard, right?
There's like, it's like, where does the line?
Where
do you put that line?
Because then like, you when like the whole like the political correctness argument, which like male comedians love that one. They're like, I'm not allowed to say whatever I want. You guys are bitches. Shut up, man. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I agree.
But at the same time, it's like, that's where like it starts to get blurry for them, because clearly they don't understand that it's like, it's not about people trying to censor you. It's about like what you're perpetuating, right?
Yeah.
But either way, I think I'm the only one at the table who hasn't watched the Dave Chappelle.
Oh, really?
Comedy, but
just be prepared. Like,
Yeah.
it was a lot. But I mean, I laughed, and I was like, oh, damn, I shouldn't be laughing. But I laughed.
What's
but
so
like,
like-
the thing is, like, I'm a huge Chappelle fan.
Right. I'm a
Like,
huge
I've watched
Chappelle fan.
all of his sitcoms,
Yep.
like maybe 3-4 times.
Right,
So I know the type of comedian he is, and you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, what he says.
I
right?
think he's the best.
He's not like trying to hurt anybody's feelings at all, and that's why I think even back in the day, or it was not back in, I think it was this year when he cussed out Daniel Caesar.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys
he's
saw
like-
that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I saw that.
It's like, it's his personality. When
Yeah.
you know, it's not like I know him personally,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
when
yeah.
you've
We
seen
call
and
me.
you've grown up on
Yeah,
Dave
yeah, yeah.
Chappelle, you
Yeah.
know the type of person he is.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, he's just poking
It's
fun,
abrasive.
right?
Yeah,
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 very, very.
But I think
Abrasive.
like I personally think he's the best just because like he does it so tastefully. Like there are some comedians that talk about very sensitive topics and it's like it can go south really fast.
Yeah.
But he does it in such a way where I think his comedy is so good is because he talks about very important issues, but in a very comedic way where you can laugh, but also at the end of the special, you're like, wow, I actually learned something. Like,
Took
there's-
something in.
Literally, like, I'm like, oh, I understand his perspective. I can understand the other side. That's why I think he's the best. I don't know.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
What were your thoughts on it when you saw it, though?
Yeah.
Really liked the intro joke. I thought that
Yeah.
was very, very smart. Like, so funny. But there were a few jokes from, like, I really like the DJ Khaled one. I thought that was, like, kind of very odd for Dave Chappelle. And that's the
Very.
thing. For the average comedian, it might hit softly, but we know Dave Chappelle, and he's a killer, like, with... I mean, pretty much every special prior to this is damn near perfect.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think it's,
I agree.
for sure.
I agree.
it's this one people are on edge about.
Yeah, because
But,
I
yeah.
think he spoke about the LGBTQ community.
Well, he does that
again.
all the
Well, he does
time,
that all
but-
the time, but this time it was like a little bit
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazier.
Yeah, I feel like I heard or like something that was spoken about as well is like him discrediting the like those who came out as like survivors of like Michael Jackson's abuse as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was-
that one.
Yeah.
That's like
That
something that I'd love to know.
was.
Was it difficult, like uncomfortable? to work
Not
through?
really. Like I don't know. For me, like I can understand why some people would be like, "Wow, this was a little too far." But yeah, there was it was a little funny, but then there were some times where I was like, "This is a little too sensitive."
Yeah.
Fair.
I also kind of felt like I heard that joke before.
Really?
The one where kids will be like, oh, on Monday they'll be like, oh yeah, I got
Yeah,
head for
yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know,
There were some
I felt
repeated
like
jokes for
I
sure. Yeah, I think
heard
this
that.
special wasn't his best special for sure because he
Mhm.
repeated a lot of jokes. Like Louis C.K. when he talked about him, it was the same joke he talked about in his old special. So
Oh, interesting.
there's a lot of repeated
Oh.
jokes, but I think he just went extra hard on this.
Yeah,
one as
you
well.
got to wonder too, like what. I mean, sometimes I wonder. It's like, yeah, what either like pressure is he like mounting on himself, like whether comedians themselves are thinking about like what is gonna be the thing that I say that like people talk about. You know, it's almost like
Yeah.
you're doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
It's not like I just wanted to make people laugh. It's like I'm very well aware that this is gonna be contentious.
Yeah.
This is going to make people feel upset.
Yeah.
I think with comedy in general, it's a lot of like shock value
Mhm.
with it. Depending on what you're talking about, especially with Dave Chappelle, he talks about like hard hitting issues or social
Right.
issues that go on. So you need to have a punchline that's like, oh damn, like
Yeah, yeah,
Chappelle
yeah.
said that, like oh geez, like
Yeah.
you gotta have Twitter blow up. You
Yeah,
need all
yeah,
the social media to blow up.
Right.
So yeah, with comedy in general, like there can be something as lighthearted as I don't know other comedians
Fair,
other
fair.
than and then there's Dave Chappelle, which is on like the red meter, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh okay, well,
The red meter. Yeah, it's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it.
But I will say, like, I honestly like when I hear his content, I'm like, I resonate with it just because like I understand where he's coming from. It's like everyone is thinking the same thing in a way, but it's like no one's speaking about it. So he's the only one that's brave enough to actually talk about some of these social issues. But like, and sometimes it's like it's hard to digest, which is why I think the comedic aspect of it is allowing you to digest it a bit easier.
Right.
But it is very sensitive topic.
Yeah. I'm curious to know. I'm
You should watch it, man.
Yeah,
You
sure,
should
okay.
definitely
Okay,
watch
fair.
it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Because that's always something that I find myself like not sitting on the fence about, but yeah, like struggling with. I think over like the past like 3 or 4 years, especially like diving into comedy specials and like kind of like getting over that hump where it's just like, oh man, that one like did not sit
Yeah.
well with me, you know, or
Yeah.
it just like it feels kind of abrasive is the word that
Yeah.
I used earlier.
Actually, I wanted to ask, would you guys ever do stand up? Like just one special?
do you do stand up?
I've done it once.
Oh
Why?
damn,
Yeah.
please.
Fire, dude.
I don't know if you're gonna be repeating yourself like on the podcast about explaining it, but did the
No, I
people know
can-
that you've done it?
Yeah, and I can talk about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was an audience of many brown peoples,
Nice.
run by Sunther, who
Yeah.
is a large brown audience.
That's
I
right.
mean, open to everybody, of course. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what it drew in. And at first, I didn't think they would get the flow that I was going at, because I'm not doing it traditionally, I guess.
Mhm.
More Dimitri Martin than, I
Mhm.
guess, like
Are
Dave
you
Chappelle.
familiar with Dimitri Martin?
No, I don't know.
So like
Dimitri.
very monotone.
Mm.
Not dry necessarily, but like delivery isn't like it's not climactic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. yeah.
I
It's like
feel-
intentionally anticlimactic.
Yeah, I feel you're very like sarcastic. You have a lot of British humor.
Yeah, I think it's there too.
Yeah.
You know, very still face. Like no, well, I mean, from what I experienced of living in the UK, British humor is very sarcastic, no emotion, and you're like, I don't know if you're serious or if you're being funny. Which one is it?
You know what? A gift and a curse.
Yes,
Curse.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
curse
yeah.
for me actually 2 nights ago.
Oh,
But
really?
I might get into that. I might not.
Okay. Oh, you better spill the tea for that one.
I will.
Okay.
A gift when I was doing this because people kind of understood it, and maybe it's because I knew them, but I didn't know them, but I knew them.
Mm.
You know, and they understood and they were laughing, and I felt comfortable enough. And then I started walking around and stuff like that, like I had like some real heat. But then I'd be like, "Hey, you ever go to? I went to an all-white wedding. Those people can't dance." And then it's just that stuff.
As a
Oh my
member of the
God.
audience, I will say I think it went pretty well for his
Yeah?
first time. Yeah, I think it was like, I will say at the start, I think it was like a mix of people laughing out of discomfort because Navek was just like embracing the silence up there. Like he would stand and he would just stay silent for like 5 seconds before
That's
he lined up
amazing.
his next joke. To me, which like I think is amazing because I know him, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I could tell that like part of the humor is him just like staring into the distance and not saying it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there are definitely people who like did engage that and were like nervously laughing, which I
Yeah.
think was really funny. But then as it went on, like I think even some things that you did unintentionally, or maybe you did do them intentionally, and you can expose yourself today. But I think there was one point where you started a joke and you were like, ah shit, hold on. And you just looked at your phone to remind yourself. We're like, all right.
I got it now.
Yeah, that's a professional tip I learned in the biz.
And like to me, I was like,
Wow.
I know that's you being like, oh fuck, I forgot. But like people in the audience might not know. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there
yeah.
was this bit of dramatic irony that at least maybe added some more like added some great value for me as a member of the audience. But it's hard. Have either of you ever tried
I
it?
really
considered
want
it?
to.
Yeah.
I really want to, but
Okay.
yeah, I want to get some tips from you, I guess.
Fair.
So I've heard your podcast, and
I
you guys
appreciate
have
that.
a lot of. Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have jokes that are good enough for
You
stand
think
up,
so?
that are good
Absolutely.
for stand up, that can easily be translated onto the stage.
I would
Yeah.
like to do like a duo
Yeah.
stand up.
Ooh.
I think that'd be kind of cool in the sense of like we're kind of bouncing off each other. It's like not a podcast, but it's like more of a special, like
Yeah.
a stand up special. But it's
Yeah.
like we're just bouncing jokes off each other. We're talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be like a roast session.
Exactly.
I don't know if
Ooh.
you guys are you guys familiar with Roast Me from ADD?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is something I would definitely be a part of.
Yeah?
I don't know if I'm quick as those guys.
Yeah,
Those
those
guys
guys
are
are
very
very
quick.
quick. on their
They're
feet.
very, very quick on their
Yeah.
feet. But
Yeah.
if there was ever a situation like that they were hosting a night like that, man, I'd definitely sign up for that.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely.
So for context, ADD is like a YouTube,
Mhm.
I guess primarily channel where they post a bunch of content. All of it is like comedy based. A lot of it is like game based. And one of them is called Roast Me, where a group of these comedians sit in the room and then one by one, it's just a roast session essentially. The setting is like a classroom usually. And one by one they kind of go up and then they all just start roasting each other. And they're usually like 15, 20-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And like recurring faces. Sometimes they have guests come on. I sometimes I watch it. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
the speed in which they're coming
Right.
up with stuff. And obviously, it's like practice makes habits,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It allows for them to like think on their feet and think that quickly, and to like think about like how often. Because from what I understand, ADD's headquarters is in LA, and all of these folks were essentially reeled in from like being funny on Twitter, being funny on Vine, being funny on Instagram. So it was started by Russell Simmons.
Yeah.
This is like his media company. And yeah, all these people. So like Waleed Mohammed, who was like once popular on Vine.
Yeah.
He was a part of ADD. There are a bunch of people. And yeah, they just kind of like corralled him into this room like a chicken coop and just like
Yeah.
have them milling all the stuff.
Pretty much like a good place or a good platform for a young and up and coming
Yeah.
comedians.
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of
Start
them,
off.
that's right. A lot of them, you can, if you search up their individual names, you can see that they do stand up
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we certainly shout out to Thurka. Thurka has a comedy show called the New Normal Comedy Show, where like prioritizes people of color, prioritizes the LGBTQ community, and like just like creating like a safe environment for folks who are trying to get into comedy, but can find it potentially intimidating as like a result of it being dominated by like 40-year-old dudes. So shout out to Thurka. We can even get the two of you in touch with her.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Like, you're pretty right about comedy being like mostly white dudes. That's why I kind of was like, do I do a stand-up show knowing like a lot of people just end up going to see like white dudes or dudes in general too.
That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to think of what female comedians that I know of, or just there's HBO started this new like short series on YouTube about a black lady show,
Lady Comedy Show,
Lady Comedy Show, which is just like 3 to 5 minute sitcoms, 3 to 5 minute skits. Sorry.
Oh, the sketch show.
The sketch show.
Black Lady Sketch Show. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Very good.
And it's pretty much like all of the black comedian women, and all together in like different skits, pretty much. And I'm like, that's great, right? Especially for I guess funny girls or funny female black girls or women of color in general who want to go into comedy. You don't see that as much.
Not at all.
So it's really good to see like those small skits or even anything else. Like Amanda Seales, who's from Insecure. She has an HBO special too, which is also a stand-up as well.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope to see like a lot of women coming up in the
totally, and like
space.
that the space needs to be there, right?
Yeah,
or
for
if
sure.
not, it's gonna continue to be male dominated, right?
For sure.
I mean, that's I think such a big part of why Thurka started the show in the first place, because she's like, yeah, there's no space for us here, and like if we're not gonna be welcomed in, then like I may as well create my own. So shout out to her.
Shout out to her for real.
For real.
Good for her for creating that space when she saw there was like no.
Exactly.
Like, that's good.
And it's kind of wild because I've been watching stand-up for some years now. It's always been white dudes going up telling porn jokes. It's always the same, and it's always whack. And I'm almost like, damn, there's not even women, but there's no people of color in this damn club. And that's why I felt comfortable to go to like Sunthar's show or Thurka's show. Like, those make you feel comfortable, make you want to go up.
Yeah.
So we need even more of those shows.
That's right.
Question for you: do you think you would still feel comfortable even if they weren't like it wasn't people of color in the audience?
Ooh, so I have done stand-up in front of white people some years ago.
Okay.
And crickets every time.
Oh,
really?
damn.
Yeah, it was so uncomfortable.
See, now I have another question. This is for everybody here. So I feel like a lot of my comedy or my
Just making fun of white people.
No, it's not. Okay, relax. Not. I mean, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of my comedy like comes from being part of an immigrant family and like immigrant upbringings and just being of like an ethnic background. And a lot of these jokes you can tell to other ethnic folks because they've lived those experiences. Do you think that's like, my question is essentially, do you find it hard to be funny with people who are not ethnic or people who are not people of color?
That's interesting. I think for me at least is like, let's say if there's a white person that I'm speaking to, if they if they're not like born in a farm in Canada, then I'm probably going to relate to them. It's probably like the ones that just don't really understand where I'm coming from, my perspective. It's probably harder to connect with me, but I will say, most of the jokes are about white people. So it's like, it's like, automatically it's like, if you have a good sense of humor, white people will fuck with me, but
fair. But also, you don't need their validation, man.
Yeah.
Facts.
There we go, Chris. I appreciate that.
How about you, Navik?
Well, yeah, it's millennial whites that are cool.
It's a
Millennial whites.
millennial
Like
whites.
So the whites that are like our age, basically.
And yeah, I mean, they kind of get the vibes.
Yeah.
But
They get the vibe.
but the thing is,
But
when
do
you go
you
to
think
this,
it's because white people now, millennials, are trying to be like us? Is that why?
oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of areas around here that they grow up around us.
Yeah. Okay.
And
There we go.
I can't take that away from them. Like my barber Jay Roots, I'll get rooted. He is a white man, grew up in an entirely black area
Yeah.
in
Cool.
Pickering, and that's just how he grew up. So Not saying that he says any or does any wild stuff. He doesn't do any wild stuff.
It's
I'm not
dropping
implying
wild
that.
N-bombs,
Just saying
Thank God.
he just cuts hair very well. And almost too well.
Gives a good fade. Yeah.
Almost his fade is almost too.
Too
Is
well.
it?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Is he transracial, man? Is he one of them? Some Rachel
you
Dolls.
guys watch
shit?
Atlanta?
Watch
Do you
Atlanta.
do you watch the show
Yeah,
Atlanta?
I watched
Watch
Atlanta.
that episode where it's like the sketch or the sketches, and then one of the sketches is.
Is this black dude who's
transracial.
like, yeah, I'm a white dude now. I'm a white dude named Steve.
I don't remember it, but
Oh,
Oh,
really
it's
good.
a goat skin. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So-
There's like this kid, and he's just like, yep, like he's just a young, like middle-aged black man, and he's like, no, I don't identify as black anymore. I identify as like
That's
a
white.
straight white dude named like Steve, and he just wears like a polo or like a rugby shirt tucked
oh,
in.
damn, I need to
Wow.
watch that. Then I'll have to
Wow.
rewatch that.
It's great. It's great. And
Yeah.
like direct attack at Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh my
say
God.
that's probably what it.
So funny.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
funny. But yeah, I think to answer both of your questions, I think one, like black exploitation right now,
Yeah.
at its like
At its
peak,
peak,
for
Yeah.
sure.
for sure.
And you even think about like and like again with white audiences especially is like my argument here is that like this is why that like even to this day or at this point in time, pardon me, people will kind of condemn Russell Peters as a result of like his jokes being at surface, yeah, my way of like connecting with, you know, all these people and like building this like empathy. But at the same time, like when he's doing accents from like different ethnic groups, different racialized groups, when he's like making these jokes and it's like primarily to a white audience, the white audience isn't consuming it from like a point of empathy. It's like consuming it as like a haha, your life is so funny. Oh my God, you're getting beat every day. That's so funny. When it's like all of us are like, that's not actually that funny.
Right.
It's tormenting, right?
Yeah.
Where like we can laugh and be like, someone gets it. We can chuckle about this together.
Right.
It's like we work through that pain a little bit. Whereas oftentimes because there's that lack of empathy, generally speaking with a white audience, that's where it becomes damaging, right? That's when like, yeah, for an Indian dude to be doing like a Jamaican accent or for him to be doing like his take on like a Chinese accent, like he's not safe from being racist, right?
Yeah.
Like that he still enters those territories. So
Yeah.
with the white audiences, it's like it's challenging and it's a double-edged sword in that sense. Not to say that he in front of ethnic audiences that like Russell Peters should be doing Chinese accents. I still think it's crossing a line.
Right.
But that's like one point. But then two, I think for me with white audiences, maybe this is how my lived experience, I guess, maybe changes from the three of you. Is that like Pickering was like fairly white growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So very early on, like I grew up in Ajax and then Pickering. I think I like, it's not something I'm necessarily proud of, but like code switching was something that I could do very well. Like I grew up very in tune with like the hockey world and like
Right.
very in tune with like, yeah, that's like one example of like very many other things that like I was in tune with and I was able to like work into conversation and in many ways like make myself palatable for these reasons. So for that reason, maybe when like I feel pressured or like if I wasn't in a space with like, I don't know, 4 other people that I feel very comfortable with, I will like I don't want to say subconsciously, but I will. There's a good chance that like I will slip into that code switch as like a means of protecting myself to be
Right.
like, yep, this is my way of not feeling othered.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I can/have found ways to like still come across as funny. But then again, I always leave being like, what are they laughing at? Are they laughing at what I have to
Right.
say, or are they laughing at it because I'm like a caricature of, you know, what they understand like a brown person to be.
Right.
So in that case, it's like something I very much am like hesitant to explore
Mhm.
now, or like do my best to think more about as I kind of enter those spaces, because it's super easy for me to do. And like I said, it's something I look back and I'm like, are you proud of that? Like, are you
Right.
happy with that? So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think like
No, that answered it.
yeah, I think generally speaking, yeah, I would definitely feel more comfortable amongst folks who like look like me, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also very easy to slip back into those places, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was on Instagram the other day, right? And I was looking at the worst Instagram handles ever. And
Shade.
there was
Shade.
Yo, give it to me, man.
Shade.
there's come.
I'm
There
I'm not
is
laughing. I'm not laughing. This is a protest.
there is Fast and the Furious movie franchise, and then there is Paki by Day, Caribbean by Night. Now, before I kill this, I don't know if there's an origin story to this.
There
If
has
there's
to
some
be.
deep,
There has to be.
if there's some deep origin to this, then I will take it back.
Yeah.
I'm also
If there
gonna,
is, which I can sense there is,
you can sense it.
I'm going to actually take it back, and I will take the year back that I was going to place. So we'll be taken back.
What I'm gonna say.
Go ahead,
to
go ahead.
add to this is when I first saw it, I didn't know you very well, and my concern. Let me just say this. I don't know if it's the same for you, but my concern came from a place of compassion. I just want to say, I think at first I was like, "Hey, listen, hear me out." At first I was like, "Oh man, is he ashamed of his heritage? Is he struggling with some like self-love? If so, this is something I want to unpack with this guy."
Yeah.
But then, man, I was like, you know what? He seemed like he's pretty comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're now here, and we can explore this with you.
Perfect,
so, Laydon,
man.
where did Paki by Day, Caribbean by Night come from?
Yeah, man. It's great because I get that a lot, actually. People, I don't know, they ask me a lot as to, like, why that's my Instagram handle. More of just, like, why not?
Okay.
That's really it.
Yeah.
But
I will also say, I think you're someone who's done the complete opposite of most of us here,
Yeah.
which is like prioritize a short handle as well.
yeah, exactly.
You've taken up all the
I
credit.
take it
It's
all
great.
the
Yeah,
way.
you
It's
took
good.
up
No, it's
all
good.
the
All of it.
space.
It's good.
100%. I wanna go the
Terrible
opposite
tag
road.
him things. It's just like
Yeah,
so
it's
long.
long. Yeah.
Listen, I wasn't roasting these two. I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
you.
No problem.
I'm
But I
happy for
will
you.
explain the origins of where that handle came from. So basically, long story short, I am a Pakistani guy with a Pakistani passport. Alhamdulillah. All the time halal, man. And, you know, traveling with a Pakistani passport is not easy. I will say it. I get checked all the time. Automatically, they look at my passport as like, yup, this guy's a terrorist. Let's just pat him down a little bit more.
Random check.
Random check. And even just traveling to places requires a visa. And
Yeah.
just applying for that visa takes months. And more often than not, it gets rejected, to be honest, just because I have a Pakistani passport, right? So traveling was a little difficult. But an interesting opportunity came across my dad where he knew some guy. I don't ask me how he knew this guy, but he knew this guy. And the guy was like, hey, man, there's a couple of countries around the world, one of them being a Caribbean country called Antigua and Barbuda. Okay? Now, this country was basically selling their passport for a little bit of cash. So it's kind of like an investment that you put into the country and you get a passport out of it.
Oh.
So, yeah, my dad put in some money. It was really sketch, to be honest with you.
This is all stuff you're comfortable sharing publicly.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, where am
Okay.
I? Who's gonna listen to this?
No
Do we need to
worries.
blur
Who's
out
gonna
your
come
face?
and find
Yeah.
This,
you?
no, man. Like this is like a.
Who gonna
this
take
is-
your passport away?
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, this is a legitimate thing. This
Okay.
isn't like any illegal. This is legitimate, even
Wow.
though it sounds a little sketch.
Okay.
My dad put some money in, and 6 months later, we got 4 passports in the mail. And again, like I said, these passports were from Antigua and Barbuda, Caribbean country, very small country. And then we had to put it to the test because we were like, man,
There's only
this,
one way to find
yeah,
out.
one way to find out, man. This doesn't seem right. So basically, we booked a trip to Antigua first, and when we got there, we had to stay there for quite some time at the airport because people were confused. There were no stamps, no nothing. And they're like, "How'd you guys get this passport? Man?
Right.
There's no stamps on it." So yeah, we had to like talk to like a couple of people at like pretty much a couple of officers there to explain to them our situation. And finally,
Right.
one guy was like, "Oh, okay, I know what you guys are doing. Come on in."
Wow.
Yeah, just like
Got
that.
the
We
head
went
nod.
in. First of all, Antigua is a beautiful country, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful country. I feel like every Caribbean country is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we had to take it one step further. We were like, all right, it worked in the actual country, so it's legitimate. But let's try it in Canada.
Wow.
So what we did, we tried using the passport to go to Toronto. No problems.
Wow.
No questions asked. Nothing. We did it again in Germany. Again, they looked at the passport and they were like, stamped it. They're like, welcome to Germany. And I was like, wow.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's the origin. And a friend of mine was just like, man, like, you got to change your handle, man. Because I think at the time it was, I can't remember what it was. I think it was something related to Pakistani, something like that.
Right.
And he's like, dude, you got to change your handle now. And he gave me the idea. And I was like, yeah, Caribbean or Paki by Day, Caribbean by Night. And there you go, man.
Damn. Amazing. What a story.
I think someone's impressed.
I think someone takes
No,
back
I think
there.
it's I'd like to say I am the complete opposite. No, no, I'm not. But I mean, I get. Yeah,
After that
it is a great
story.
It is. No, it's a great story.
I appreciate that, man.
But then the packing by Caribbean my night thing.
I just had to, man.
I thought it was gonna be something cool like
Nah, man, it's
Caribbean and then your name
not
or
really.
something like that.
That's really
but-
it, man. It's just I embody both of those.
The make has never come this hard at someone ever on the show. I don't know why I chose you.
No. But that's really it, man.
That's
know what?
phenomenal, though.
Hey, that's just truth, and ultimately I respect that truth, and I'm glad.
I still
sure.
feel a lot of shade. I feel shade.
No,
Nah, man.
that was honest.
No, that's all
I'm-
good, man.
I tell the truth when I tell the truth.
All right.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
Congrats.
About his handle.
How about the handle? Yeah.
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
I appreciate it.
I think, yeah, I don't know if you were in Vancouver at the time you changed it.
Oh.
I think I was, yeah.
But me and my other, one of our close friends found out about it and we just died of laughter. I was like, that's just genius.
Yeah. I think people that know me,
Right.
and when they
No
see it, they're like,
context.
"Oh, okay, I get
Makes
it."
sense.
Because that
Yeah.
context is
From
insane.
the outside perspective, it's like, "Oh, what a douchebag."
Yeah.
That's basically it. That's really what it
I think
is.
at first,
Why?
I think,
Yeah.
I think at first it's like, oh, is this guy just really like soca?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Is he just doing some
Yeah.
haram shit past 10 p.m.? I think that's like the general
See,
thought. I think that's what he thought. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's just got like an all white suit on
Nah,
underneath
man.
what he was wearing to hit Cabana.
Cabana, yeah. I was gonna say.
I'm full halal.
I have a nightmare where I'm falling in a hole while Wine and Ginger is playing. And I'm going, ah, get me out of here.
As someone who grew up in Scarborough, I think Nivek's like his exposure to dance hall, to soca, particularly within like the Tamil context, is like at a high.
Oh,
So
really?
he's like slightly sensitive. He's sensitive.
Really? Yeah.
to the-
You get triggered easily.
It's just I'm at the party and I'm playing it's a song that nobody wants to hear, of course. It's probably like
Playing
you know,
Chanel by Frank Ocean. Just
Yeah,
like
okay.
at a
I'm
house
probably
party.
playing Chanel by
Everyone's
Frank
just like
Ocean.
scratching their head like, hey, why did it get so sad? In
Yeah.
here?
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I go to the last 50 seconds of White Ferrari just to get people to
Just to
feel
get people
something.
crying.
Well, to get them
And
really in their feels, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then some guy comes up, hey, Wine and Ginger, so I can grind on my girlfriend like an animal. I'm like, you bastard, listen to this music and feel something once in your life.
Oh my god.
And,
This guy just
And then-
came for a whole
Wow.
call.
and then he would play Wine and Ginger, and he ends up grinding on his girl so bad that she bumps into the table and knocks over my
Oh.
laptop.
Oh,
and it
man.
This is a real
breaks.
story.
No, it is 100% a lie.
Oh,
But
okay.
the glad thing is, I said it.
Yeah. There we go.
you got it off your
Damn.
chest, man.
Very interesting.
Fire.
I want to talk about music with the two. Before we do, we got to plug your radio show because you're
Yes.
you're a,
See.
Plug
you're a
it,
whole ass
man.
radio
Hey,
DJ.
I'm definitely
bo-
biased, but it's fire.
It's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
yeah.
Thank
It is.
you.
No, honestly.
So it's on a pirate. Should we call it pirate radio
Yeah,
station?
yeah, it's a
pirate
pirate
radio,
radio
online radio
station, yeah.
station. There's no shame. It's amazing. Called ISO Radio. Started by some Toronto legends. Josephine Cruz, who we've had on the podcast.
Mhm.
Shout out episode 30. Shameless plug. And Frieza Chin, along with a few other folks. And Latifah for the past 3 months now.
Yeah, about like 2 months.
Okay.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been doing a bi-weekly show.
Yeah. Now I just started a bi-weekly show.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's primarily music focused. You're just kind of mixing. Yeah, you for the most part they've kind of been thematic, right? You've kind of had like a general vibe for every show. You do a little bit of talking between. I think my favorite one was when summer started. You're just like, listen, PSA.
She was not happy,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
She was
There's
not happy.
Talk to us about body odor.
Yeah, body odor and me are not good friends. I
Wait,
hate.
other people's body.
I,
odor.
don't-
I don't know, like mine, I smell good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
take like 3 showers a
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Other people's body odor, I do not tolerate.
Mm.
So I was just complaining about, especially in the summertime, I don't think people take showers, or they're like, you know what, I give up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one in the morning.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. It is what it is. Like, at least put deodorant,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
or like have this. At least on the TTC, don't put your arms up.
Oh yeah,
None
yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
Just mind
'cause
your
some
arms.
people's
Yeah, yeah,
armpits stink.
Stink, yeah.
So I was just complaining about that.
That's
but
fair.
yeah.
yeah. The show is obviously much more than just
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
It's just a rant.
It's just,
The
it
whole
was
show is a rant.
It was a rant. But yeah, I do have a radio show on ISO. It's called the Chief Teef Show, which is again my street name. Or
Mhm.
I don't even know. I think I got Chief Teef from high school,
right.
and that was when Chief Keef
Yeah.
was popping,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Chief Teef," and I was like, "Yo, of course I'll take it."
Yeah.
So yeah, the Chief Teef Show just is basically music that I enjoy listening to, whether it be R&B, soul, jazz, house, garage. It's a lot of UK influenced.
Nice.
And then, yeah, a bit of talking about what I've done over the week, what I've learned, whatever I've seen, something that's pissed me off type of
Nice,
thing.
nice.
I mean, just jamming out pretty much.
Phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Did you see that?
Saw
Um,
that.
Okay.
What did you guys see?
We
There's
got
a
some lightning. We got some
massive
lightning.
lightning going on right
Oh,
now.
ambiance.
hell
But we're
Like-
safe. We're
Good to know.
indoors. You know.
We're indoors, yeah. But
Yeah. Shout out to Hadi as well
Yeah.
for hosting us in.
shout out to my
Thank you.
brother
Thank you.
And
For
just-
not being here.
for not being here.
I hope
man.
he just
He
pulls
stepped
up
out.
on us and just like
Yeah,
walks by this
just
camera.
walks in,
Like,
takes my mic.
So, deuces.
Yeah.
exactly. You guys mind if I sleep? No, it's phenomenal. People can listen to it on the website, right?
Yes.
ISO
Yeah.
Radio. What is the website?
Yeah, it's ISO radio dot something.
Is it .to?
.to, yeah.
Okay,
Or
.to.
you can check out all the mixes on Mixcloud, I
On
believe.
Mixcloud.
Or just
Just
follow on
check.
Instagram or our social
Follow on
media.
Instagram.
Or,
they,
yeah,
they post
or
their
one of those.
schedules, the
Yep,
daily
yep.
schedules.
DMR.
That's super exciting. And is it something that like, do you feel like you want to transition into like DJing like nights? Do you want to be live mixing?
You see, like, it's crazy because, so this weekend we went to this block party at Stacked Market.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
There
I
was
think
like a mural.
Yes,
festival,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And my friend had mentioned, she's like, yo, imagine like you being able to have the control of making people dance and like having a good time. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like to bring in that energy for people, I would love because I'm super energetic. I
Yeah.
have such a big personality. So to bring that on stage would be super dope. But
Agreed.
also DJing seems very, very hard.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'm like, do I have time for
But
this?
fair.
Do
But I mean, you're mixing on air, right? Or
no,
at least,
I'm not.
like-
I'm not mixing. I'm like literally just playing and then just
Oh, okay.
playing a track. It's through the USB and then
Right.
kind of slowly mixing in one track and
Right.
mixing one out.
Okay.
And that's pretty much
Yeah.
my job.
I think the hardest thing from what I understand is that feeling the vibe, right? Because you
Yeah.
start playing a couple of tracks and then you start feeling the vibe with what people are like jamming to.
Yeah. You can see.
And
it on
then
their
if
faces.
if you see that they're jamming to a specific vibe, you start playing those songs and it's like, how do you mix it well with it when the song is ending? I think that's probably the hardest part
Yeah,
from what I imagine.
totally. Big part of it is just like reading.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you have to read your crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, it's like, you don't want to compromise like
Yeah, I
what
think
you
like
think sounds good, right?
exactly. I think before it was like even on the radio show, it was like, oh, maybe play stuff that people might like. But I'm like, no, then I'm not staying true to myself.
True.
I'm like, let me
Yeah.
play what
Actually,
I
yeah.
like. If people like it, then they
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
If they
yeah.
don't, then it is what it is,
Exactly.
type of thing.
True.
And I think that's the case with DJing too, because you can go to like a night out and they'll play stuff that they might think the audience likes or their mix, and you're like, no, dude, go back. I've heard this song.
Yeah.
I heard
True.
freaking Coffee like 5 times this
Oh,
night.
man.
Why are you
Yeah.
playing
Why are you
this?
playing this again? Yeah.
So
I don't
you
wanna
gotta play
hear,
what you.
I don't want to hear Tory Lane's Control. version
honestly,
one more time.
for
you
real.
dare.
For real.
Okay, this is a side note, but Navik and I saw Lil Uzi and Playboy Cardi last October.
You saw Playboy Cardi?
We did,
I'm
yeah.
so jealous.
It was overwhelming to a degree.
Really?
We lost each other.
Damn.
Like we found each other at the end, but both of us were just like drenched. My hoodie was just like shredded.
Really?
It was Either way, Lil Uzi didn't come out for an hour after
Damn.
Playboy Cardi, so they had DJ Drama come out and just like do like a guest
Oh, wow,
mix, and
DJ
he like
Drama.
Murda Beats was there, Killy was there,
Nice.
Tory Lanez came out at one point. But about Tory Lanez, super funny because DJ Drama's playing all this music and he starts playing Controller. He starts playing the instrumental to it, and the crowd's kind of like excited. And then Tory Lanez comes out and starts singing his verse, and you just hear the crowd audibly get quieter, just like,
Oh.
and then they kind of like stop the song. I just remember howling, just being like, wow, this crowd has no shame in saying just how little they're happy about listening to this. But
That's hilarious, man.
But yeah, sorry, no shade to Tory Lanez, but all shade to
But all
Tory
shade.
Lanez.
All
Yeah,
shade.
yeah.
But no, I think the fact that you're on there is phenomenal. It's a good starting point as well to figure out how you feel about moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good, I think, to be back in that radio space because
That's
I really
right.
did enjoy it.
That's right, and that was something that you did a lot of in the UK.
Yeah. So it's really good, and it's so crazy because even Josephine, who's part of ISO, there was a radio station that I used to help at as like a station assistant, and then pretty much the DJs would record and do their live shows, and we'd get their stuff, and then edit it, and then put it up on Mixcloud.
Gotcha.
And she was one of the DJs that were there.
Was it Radar?
Yeah, it was
Radar
Radar.
Radio.
Yeah, wow, crazy. Not a lot of
Amazing.
people don't know.
Fair
but,
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to work at Radar, and she used to DJ at Radar, and I was like, "What the
Wow,
fuck?
super cool.
Small world,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, very
crazy."
small world.
So yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And a lot of UK people end up coming on there too. Which is,
Totally. They have a strong UK connection.
yeah,
They
because
have
Pirate
like a-
Radio obviously it's originated from the UK.
Totally.
But yeah,
Totally.
definitely check it out, guys. Chief Teef.
Chief
100.
Teef, ISO Radio.
Yeah.
One artist that you've been banging with this summer. Actually, one artist, that's unfair. I should've said
Ari
one.
Lennox.
Nice.
Mm.
Did you end up
Fire.
seeing her live? Because she came to Toronto August 17th. Right. Saturday, August 17th. She's phenomenal.
She is.
She's amazing.
You're a
Yeah.
big fan of the Dreamville crew.
Oh,
yeah?
100.
There's
Yeah.
just everybody that comes out of that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All like I started listening to a lot of the artists that I'd never listened to before, like Earth Gang,
Oh, yeah.
Jid.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it was amazing, man. I also saw the documentary. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
Yeah.
It adds more. I think like when you watch it and then you listen to it, it makes a lot of sense, right?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Navika has an interesting history with J. Cole for just like not liking him. But I feel like
You're not the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you and I talked about this Dreamville project, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also one we were like, damn, this is actually pretty good. And it's mainly because it's like not exclusively J. Cole either. But yeah, how did you feel about this? So the project that we're talking about for anyone who's listening is called Dreamville.
Yeah, it's like Revenge of
3 or
the.
something.
Revenge of the Dreamers.
I think it's Revenge
Yeah,
of the 3.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
3. Volume
Yeah, and this is a project that is, I guess, like executive produced by J. Cole and like his team. And the whole idea was that like they got all of these artists, singer songwriters, rappers, producers in like this giant house studio. And just like every studio in this like giant place, they just like had people creating songs, and then just kind of like kept banging them out all night long. And then eventually they collected 20 something odd songs
Yeah.
of all of these artists. Some artists you're familiar with, some artists you've never heard of, some producers you're familiar with, some producers you've never heard of. And then they all kind of got on this giant compilation. So yeah, as Hadi mentioned, they put out a documentary to kind of show a bit of the behind the scenes, but also explain like what was going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, really, really cool insight into like just how kind of mad it was, right?
Yeah. It's
To
basically
kind
a
of
big
see
party.
that like people are like running from room to
Yeah.
room to be like, man, I got to try and get a verse on this.
Yeah.
I got to try and get a verse on this. Really, really cool how it was all put together.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, how did you feel about this, given your track record with J. Cole?
Yeah, I really liked it because J. Cole sounded great on this to me.
Yeah, okay.
I think the production switch up was key because I always hated the production he rapped on. I just always
That's
thought
funny because that was
kinda-
like most of it was his production, like prior
yeah,
to
and that's
these
why
albums.
I wish he would go on this type of production.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people shined. Guap Dad was really good.
Yeah.
Strange enough,
Yeah.
right?
And that's what made me think like certain people kind of work like I've listened to some of his solo stuff and
Yeah.
nothing hit.
Yeah.
But when he's hitting these songs, these hooks,
Yeah.
in particular,
Especially
it's
when he
kinda
works
going.
with Buddy, because him and
Buddy
Buddy have
is
had a track
so
before
very
on
fire.
Buddy's album,
Right.
Mhm.
and I think it's Shameless.
Okay.
The track is Shameless, but yeah, them two together work in a very straight, like
Yeah.
weird way, but it works so
works.
well.
Are they
It works,
both
yeah.
from the
Yeah.
West Coast? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
I'm not
Okay.
too sure.
I know
yeah.
Buddy's from California. but
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Grap Dad's from, but I found that Buddy really shined through.
Yeah.
You and I
Yes.
spoke about Wells
100%.
Fargo.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
an amazing song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Also,
like yeah,
Costa
sorry.
Rica. Oh man,
Where-
you gotta be in a room with 29 guys, only guys.
Yeah,
just
no,
big winter jackets, and when that hook comes on, you guys gotta scream. Just like a bunch
that's
of
the
guys.
one that they're
with-
all screaming, right, all together.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah. Very powerful and really hits you even when you're alone.
Yeah.
Even when you're alone.
Makes you
I
not
wish you
feel
were in a
so
room with
alone.
Let 'em
guys.
know,
Just
man.
being with your boys.
Oh, oh God.
Was that the one that I think you mentioned? Kind of
So
was
that
like a
one's
mix
Wells
of.
Fargo.
Okay, never
Wells
mind.
Fargo is
never,
fire.
never mind.
That one I really like.
really
But similar,
enjoyed that
similar
one.
where there's like a
Yeah.
bunch of the artists in the booth
Yeah.
just like shouting.
Literally just shouting, and it says it in the song. The guy's like, "Are you recording this?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I think they were trying. I think it started off, from my understanding, is like as a joke. Like
That's right.
literally they're as a joke, just just random shit.
Exactly.
And then it ended up being fire. And the guy was like, "Dude, are you recording this? Because this is fire."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's the beauty of that album. Is
That's
like
right.
just a bunch of artists, creatives coming together and just producing
Yeah.
beautiful music. man.
Yeah.
That's just
Right.
fire.
Everything was just like building off
Yeah,
of one another,
it
right?
was amazing, man.
So that project, I think, we can all agree was really good, really, really good. Was there anything that came out this summer? So let's, kind of reflect on the summer, seeing that the summer's not over. Was there anything that disappointed you? Was there anything that came out and you're like, this fell short of what I hoped it could have been?
Honestly, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mac Ayres.
I was just about to talk about him.
Really? Oh my
It's
god.
so good, right?
I honestly, because the other albums that I've listened to, I didn't like this one as much.
Interesting.
I will just say that.
No, fair.
There was quite a few songs that I skipped.
Interesting.
Really?
And I normally don't skip, but I was like, this is the melodies and the beats kind of just sounded very similar, and I was like, oh no, I am not a fan of this.
Did you feel there was some repetition?
Yes, yeah. Except maybe it was just the hype of when I first started listening. I was like, yeah, it's a white dude who sings some soul, yes. But this one, I don't know, like. I don't
Didn't
know if I
hit the
liked
same.
it. Also, he is coming to Toronto, guys. Just saying.
When is he coming?
He's coming in November.
Oh shoot, yeah, I'm going.
So whoever's trying to go, we trying to pull up.
Pull up.
Wait, how did you say his last name, by the way?
I think it's Ayers.
I actually don't know how to pronounce it.
Mac Ayers. Oh.
But also, you gotta listen to "Summertime Love,"
Summertime Love.
or is it "Summertime Live"?
Okay.
All right. After your girl breaks up with you, then you get back with her, and then she breaks up with you again, and then you're
Okay.
trying to get back with her for the third time, and then you listen to the song, and then you're like, "Oh shit, this is the greatest song ever." The way he's, and then right after that, Saving, and then he just kills it again. To me, he kills it. And then after this album is Snow Allegra, same day. So
That really got me in my feels. Nowhere to lie.
Okay. Fair.
No,
I've not listened to it yet.
Oh, you have
Was there anything that you listened to this summer that you're disappointed by?
I don't know, man.
it's just
I just want to know I want to know what made you sad. Not actually.
What made me sad?
No, there doesn't have to be. If there's anything, let's move.
I don't
you
know, man. Yeah.
Fuck it. It's a bad question. Let's move on to what you enjoy. Talk about Snow Allegra. What did you like about this project? She had a song on there called Toronto. Didn't
Yeah, she does. That song, I think. personally, I'm just a big fan of her. Her voice is amazing.
she? Snow
And-
Allegra is. Sorry to cut you
Yes,
off.
go
Snow
ahead.
Allegra. Again, for context to anyone who's listening, her background is like Persian, Swedish,
Iranian, yeah,
Iranian,
Persian, yeah.
Iranian, Swedish,
Swedish,
right?
yeah.
Like Swedish passport.
Yeah.
So again, really, really cool insight into just like lived experience, right?
Yeah.
That's right. You were saying.
No, so I was just saying that she's just a really dope singer. I really got mad because her intro is amazing and it's only like 1 minute long, which I
The
hate.
classic. The classic.
So I've just had to repeat that intro like a billion times. I'm like, why do they do that to us? Like,
the teaser.
go
want to
ahead.
know a secret?
What?
So these snakes in the music industry do.
Yeah.
They make a beautiful song that's 4 minutes long. They trim it down to 50 seconds so you can stream it 3 billion times.
No wonder they're so smart. That's why it's on
Very
replay
smart.
like the whole day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Interesting.
the
Very
one.
smart.
Think about Tierra Whack. I mean, on one hand, there was an artistic decision, but simultaneously, she made a lot
It's
of
a
bank
bag
off
decision.
of
'Cause even, like,
50-second
no,
songs.
it's not Bryson. Brent Fayaz
Mhm.
has a lot of interludes that are
Ooh.
amazing.
Yeah, he
And
does
you're
that.
like, why?
Just like
Why?
6-part harmonies.
Why you gotta
and
do
you're
this?
like, ooh,
Why you gotta
yeah.
do this? Like he has an interlude with Juice World.
Oh yeah.
You know which one it is, right?
Yeah, was
And-
that on the Juice WRLD album?
Yes, it was. It was like End of the World or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's so good.
god. I like replayed that track like freaking 50 times and I'm like, why? This is an interlude. Why you gotta do this?
It's really, really frustrating when people do that. Even think about like I always think back to the end of Wolves off of Kanye's St. Pablo. Or Life of Pablo, pardon me. Like that, or Frank's track, right? Where it's just like Frank
Yeah.
over the chords, and you're like, damn,
That was
this
amazing,
needs to be
yeah.
longer
Yeah,
than 20
100%.
seconds.
I agree.
But same thing, they know that. They
Yeah.
know that it's supposed to be longer,
Yeah.
but keeps you
Yeah,
in it.
but in general, that album was really
Snow
good.
Allegra,
Snow
okay.
was really good.
Phenomenal.
It's here the intro. You is really good. Situationship.
Okay.
I want you, or I want you around, whichever
Oh.
one.
Great song.
Yeah,
One of the best
right?
of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good.
Okay. I have a lot to catch up on.
Yes.
How about you, Hadi? Was there anything you listened to this summer that you really enjoyed?
I don't know, man. I would say like there's a lot of good music for me. Like I don't know. I would say like maybe I was really looking forward to Daniel Caesar's album. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, some people say like it was okay.
Mhm.
It was like very different. I really enjoyed it.
Right on.
And I think probably my best album so far is Dreamville.
Dreamville, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like after watching the documentary and hearing the music, I was like, this
You
is
appreciate it a lot
amazing.
more,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
fair enough. And it's like it's intentional, right? They do that for people to get a good sense of like just how much work went into it.
Yeah.
It's like in the same way that like the Brockhampton documentary, like I think
Mhm.
that came out, and I don't know if they publicly released it or not, but people watching were like, damn, like this is just a group of people going super, super, super hard,
Yeah.
being very vulnerable as well. So yeah, I totally agree. I think putting out content like that is like a good way to keep people in or just like provide that insight.
Definitely.
Did any of you listen to the new Brockhampton album?
No, I
Yeah.
should definitely listen to it.
I only
Yeah.
heard Boy Bye.
Absolutely love it.
Pardon me?
I only heard that one song. I think it's called Boy Bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It
I
is
enjoyed that
really,
one.
really good. What
Ginger?
did you think? Yeah, of the album. What did you think?
Title
of that?
track.
You like the title track?
That's incredible. The whole album, yeah. They really took some different turns here that I didn't think
Mhm,
they'd take. Like
mhm.
with Victor Roberts.
Yep.
Great song.
Yeah, this whole song is like written and performed by this guy who one of the band members named the band member Don McLennan knows this dude named Victor Roberts. He's known him for a really long time. Victor Roberts was like, yeah, he was like really committed to making rap music, but very like early on in his life kind of like put everything aside to support his mother who's dealing with dementia, and I think his father who like wasn't working at the time. Both of like his parents who also kind of like struggled a lot in their lifetime, and had their son essentially taking care of them and putting everything aside. And then I think he kind of rekindled his connection with Dom, and Dom was like, listen, like we got to find a way to get you on this project. And he closes out the album with just like a very raw song about like what his like life at like age of 6 looked like, and it's like very dark and like very real, but again something that's like super, super left field from what Brockhampton have done before. And I agree, there's like a lot of really, really cool turns that they did. There's a song on there with Slow Tie.
Oh, nice.
Which I
Nice.
thought was really neat.
Yeah.
And some of the featured artists on there, there's this like they continue to explore new sounds, but I think it's very clear that like they're finally being open about a lot of just like hardship that they've gone through, which I don't think they did on the last project. The last project was very experimental and like them just kind of like going all out. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm also just like a fan
Huge
through and
fan,
through,
yeah.
so I
Yeah.
find myself defending them maybe
Yeah.
more than I should. But yeah, really, really, really good project, and I'm excited to see what else kind of comes of it this year. But I'm trying to think what else like highlights. I think the Tyler album was like a phenomenal way to
Yeah.
start the summer. I've talked about it on this podcast way too many times, but
Blood Orange.
yeah, Blood Orange as
Yeah.
well. I'm trying to think. Goodness me.
Sir just came out with his.
Pardon me?
Sir.
Sir, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was listening to some of it. It's
Very
actually
vibey.
I don't know. I think it was like I liked his like Summer November the Evil. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
how you say it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
that vibe was like I really enjoyed it, but like
Mhm.
I think it was too mainstream. Like this
Mm.
this album. I don't know. I like the one with I think it's called Hair Down with Kendrick. That one's kind of nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really good.
But-
It was pretty.
It was.
Well, I
Yeah.
liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he talks about is like quite relatable,
Okay.
especially in terms of like being in relationships and then being so busy that
Mm.
somebody else might like feel a type of way that you're super busy
Right.
and then you can't really accommodate to them. So yeah, it's pretty
Relatable.
dope. Yeah. Very, very, very,
Phenomenal.
very. Yeah.
Last question, music related for you. What's a genre or a type of music that you want to learn more about, that you want to get into?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yo, I think old school like R&B, because
Mm.
I didn't know. So BMO from Ari Lennox is actually a sample from Faith Evans' I Can't Wait.
Okay.
And when you listen to like where the sample actually comes from, Faith Evans sang it better than Ari Lennox.
Oh really?
And I'm like, damn, like I wish I know that a lot of songs that we listen to are samples,
Mhm.
generally speaking,
Mhm.
but to go a lot deeper into where they come from and to understand where the producers are from and so on and so on, instead of just saying like, oh, this was a fire track,
Yeah,
must have been this producer from Dreamville. But I'm like, damn, this comes from like the classics, like the
That's
old
right.
heads, right?
Yeah,
So you have to
yeah.
kind of go back in time to see where this kind of uncomes from. Like that's why I started like I think maybe 2-3 years ago, started listening back to like old school R&B,
True.
old school soul. Like I'm a huge D'Angelo fan now.
Nice.
And I only came across him like 2 years
Fair
ago.
enough. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely old school. Like,
Yeah, just
soul
kind of
and
revisiting
jazz.
maybe some of the roots of these.
Yeah.
So much of what we experienced.
Yeah,
today,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Navik? Is there any genre in particular?
New Jack Swing.
New Jack Swing.
I'm about to be on that Bobby Brown wave.
Oh, you've
You
been
know.
on the Bobby.
Wow.
Brown. Oh
I
my
still
God.
want to go. I love it so much. New Edition.
Okay, you already listened
New
to it though. So you have to
Edition.
tell me about a
Yes.
genre that you haven't explored,
Oh,
or genre or style, or like place in the world that music comes from. Folk music from a particular part of the world. Yeah.
Probably whatever Bon Iver was on in 2009.
True.
Yeah.
Like
2009, 2011.
Like what he was listening to, or just like his music from that time.
His music.
His music from that
That's
time. Okay.
Fire.
How about you, Hadi?
I think I would have to go with Latifah. I think like man, what's that song? It's called Time by I think Drake sampled it. I can't remember. It's called Time though. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Do you remember how it
Is there
went?
like piano and a guy
It's like
singing?
The one with Jhené Aiko?
No,
No, never mind. That's
Does it go na 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 na?
I can't remember who sang it, but the title's called Time.
Very helpful.
But yeah, when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is.
I actually
Yeah.
what you just saying, that little bit right there, I think I know what song you're talking about.
you yeah.
what song is it?
I mean I don't know the name, but I think I know.
It's a piano. It starts with the piano.
You
Yeah.
want to sing that again?
You got time.
Damn.
That connects to something that's sweet. The Sway Lee and Drake song, okay, is not good. Okay, by the way,
I don't think I even heard it.
the hook is don't be late. And I'm like, that's what y'all came up with. Don't be late.
Don't be
That's-
late, bro.
That's what it is. But hey, create, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, though,
Y'all
like
create.
some songs were pretty fire. Like, remember that one song that popped up in the summer? Gassed up, Shardy, said
Yeah,
she'd be
yeah,
my
yeah.
party.
That's fantastic.
Pull up to the
That was kinda
party.
fire.
That
was
was
kinda fire.
That was fire.
But the
Even
lyrics
though the lyrics
are
are trash.
trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the vibe was so strong.
Right?
I like that vibe.
The beat production was fire. Yeah, I
Yeah,
will say.
I forgot the name of the artist. Started with an N. I can't remember, but either way, we'll figure this out.
Which
Of Gassed Up
of the
Shorty.
yeah, I think it was
Yeah, anyways, yeah, it happens, man. I listened to a friend of mine. Shout out my friend Karim. He was like, "Yo, you know what song you gotta listen to? Sextasy
By Sway Lee?
Sway Lee.
Yeah.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
It's,
I mean, it's not bad.
It's
but
not great. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not great.
I have a tough time with Ray Shremmerd. I really try. I really do.
Yeah.
But some of it just doesn't hit for me. But you know, it's okay.
it is what it
It
is.
is what
It
it
is
is.
what
The
it
only
is.
person that could say music now is Playboy Cardi.
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
Come out of your hiding, king,
Facts.
and let it go.
Facts.
That's what we need to add.
We
to the
need
soundboard.
baby Playboy Cardi to come out more.
For 30 songs straight.
Facts.
No
Straight.
features. No features.
Just them two.
It's
No
just,
features?
It's just,
Him.
it's just a distorted
yeah, no
808 and
features.
his voice just going, yeah.
And, wah. And then
Just ad libs in the back.
Exactly.
And then I want Frank Ocean to be on it, but him to do a baby voice as well. But you don't know the difference. And then later it'll be a surprise fact, like, oh, Frank Ocean did the baby voice.
Which one do you think
Yeah,
did
which
which?
one do you think did which? Yeah.
Find out on Genius.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hilarious, man.
That's all they are.
The one genre I think I want to get more into, it's not a weird one, but it's definitely one that like I think I've been hesitant to get into because I realize that it's not like it's not a popular one, or like again it's not like relevant in pop culture, but it's like drum and bass, like something that's like not some,
Yeah.
or it's something that I've explored a little bit.
Bomb for that one.
It's something that I've explored a little bit, and like
Jokes.
I have family in the UK who definitely enjoy it. But yeah, it's not something I've explored, and I think particularly with like mixing music and like knowing what would be fun. That's always something that I've been like, I feel like I don't know, or I'm not familiar with crowds that would enjoy it. But
Yeah.
you know, it's still something that I want to learn more about. So
Mhm.
2020 is.
Drum and bass is fire.
I'm just gonna drop acid and listen to
You
drum
don't
and
even
bass.
like the thing is actually no, I lied. I went to like a rave one time with drum and bass. I couldn't last an hour because I
Really?
think you had to be on drugs to like
Yeah,
actually
you need to
enjoy
be on
it.
Molly.
That's why they have their parties in like warehouses and everyone's like off balloons and
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
other shit. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
PSA. I don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, kids stay in
Don't do
school. Don't do
drugs.
drugs.
Yeah.
I just eat a Twix bar before get a little juiced up. You know, that caramel hits straight to my cavities. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely
crazy
don't
time.
do drugs. They're not cool at all. They're not,
Not
sick and
cool at all.
fun
Not cool at all.
at all. Don't do them while you're driving as well.
Damn.
On the way to a podcast.
Definitely don't. Okay, we've entered the final two segments of the show here. We're gonna start with Soup It Up. This one's unofficially sponsored by Campbell Soup. This is where we ask our guests and ourselves, but to share something that's maybe made us mad, made us salty, made us angry, made you frustrated, made you doubt yourself, even maybe, and just to get it off your chest, you know, because sometimes we got to do that. Sometimes we got to do it publicly as like a way to empathize as well, you know. So how about I start with you, Navik? Is there anything you want to get off your chest?
I'll keep it quick because I know how it is. So I was at Woodside Square Mall located in McCown and Finch yesterday. Oh, you know?
I know this place.
Of
I know
course.
the place.
Oh, you do?
She's
That's
from
good.
Vern
Of
Block.
course. I'm from
Vern
Malvern.
Block.
I live in
I
Malvern.
tried to
Oh,
throw a
Vern
guess.
Block.
Vern Block.
Vern
Yeah.
Block.
I already know the vibes there.
Vern Block.
Every time I show up, every time.
Deuces.
They have a really good bakery out in Woodside Mall.
Which one? The Buns one?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Buns
that
Bakery.
is good.
That's good.
But I went to the Best Mart, which is very new.
Okay.
I went to the Best Mart and I saw fake AirPods there for $9.99.
Did you cop 'em?
I definitely did instantly.
Yes.
Opened the box while I was in the store.
Right.
One AirPod. Walked up to the woman, said, "Miss, one." And she said, "So?"
That's what it was.
I was like, "I need one more. I need to hear two. I need two of these
You gotta
things."
pay for another $9.99.
She's like, $34.99 for two.
What?
Wow.
I'm like, is this a normal practice where people buy one headphone? You're in such a rush. Oh,
Oh, I only need one.
Only could put clip on one of my fake AirPods. And the guy next to me was in line, like laughing. Ha ha! I'm not a fool to buy one headphone. And the box said wireless earphones with the S. What a lie! And she said no refunds to me. You're
So you bought it.
don't yeah. I
You bought one.
He still bought that
Oh my
one.
Oh yeah, I couldn't return it.
That's
Oh,
yeah,
there's
you
no
can't
return
return. You
policy,
can't
man.
return those
Yeah, once you
things.
open it,
That's game over. There is no receipt for you. That's why.
The story is, I was really tricked.
Yeah, you were
They
tricked.
really
You
tricked
got
me.
finessed, basically.
Wow, it was a big finesse. I actually said that to her. I was like, this is such a finesse. And she's like, ha 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 ha. I'll continue your laughter when I sue you in your store. No. Obviously, I'd never sue Woodside. It's my place of birth.
Place of birth. That's right. Shout out McCown and Finch, MCF. But thank you for sharing that, man. That's truly frustrating. I can't imagine being gypped in that way. Also, I probably wouldn't have bought $10 AirPods
Yeah,
if
bro.
I saw them.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, man. I'm really sorry.
Unless they were a different color, like purple or something. Would have been like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Why not be different?
You know what? They're actually cheetah print. So that's why I probably should have known, huh?
You should have known,
You
man.
probably should, man.
You can only have one, man. They were like, no, we can't have two of these, man. These are too fire.
Oh my god, these are too fire. You know what's really funny though? One AirPod is like is the millennial equivalent of like the dad with the Bluetooth headset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
That could
what?
be you, man.
You know, segueing off of that,
Yeah.
that is one thing I hate. I'm not gonna lie. People that use or wear AirPods as a fashion statement, like they'll just wear it. Like I know people that I'm having a legitimate conversation and they'll still have it in.
They'll
I'm
still
like,
keep them in.
I'm
even
like,
though they're not
why,
listening to
man?
anything.
You're not listening to shit. I'm talking to you, man. Take that shit off.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I feel you on that one. That's kind
Yeah.
of frustrating. My
Yeah.
brother does that, man. Fresh, man. Just take out your damn AirPods. I know you're listening, but it's just
I'm
like
talking to you, bro.
a social thing. But hey, man, thank you for getting that off your chest. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
How about you, Latif? Is there anything that's on your mind? That's been on the mind?
So one thing that just happened to me like yesterday on the TTC, because the TTC is my life,
Always
basically. So this man sat next to me and took up all the space.
Oh, was he spreading?
Oh, with his
Spreading
legs?
legs?
With
man
his
spreading.
man spreading, with his arm spreading, whatever it was. I ended up being underneath him. I don't know how,
Oh, shit.
but it happened. So I guess like that's what I'm pissed about is like
Mm.
mind your space, give me some space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on me either.
Did you fall asleep?
Yeah. Yep.
How far was your commute? Were you on there for a long time?
Let's not even talk about
Oh,
it.
man,
But
I'm
it
sorry.
was from like Spadina back to Scarborough.
Oh my lord,
That's a long trip.
Yeah.
damn. When you and I had dinner, we joked about how we should invent, or not even invent, but we should start making men's pants with
Oh, yeah.
Velcro on the inside of the knees. So when
Yeah.
you touch your
They
knees
can-
together,
So they can just close it.
Oh,
stay-
very
Yeah.
good
That's
product,
good, actually.
man. That's a good product. I'll never
But then
buy
we
it.
like also said, what if they get up and then they just collapse?
What if
'Cause
they
it's,
get
like,
up and it's just too
connected,
strong
so-
Velcro?
Yeah.
The Velcro's too
Gotta think a little bit
adhesive.
more on this one.
But you know what? I mean, then just step up your groin game. You know, just step up the muscles, man. That's what it comes down to.
Groin.
Strap up your groin game.
That's hilarious.
Chris Deshmore, that's right. 2019. Don't get it twisted. But thank you for sharing that. That is a problem. My friends, my male friends,
Close your damn legs.
close your damn legs.
Yeah,
man.
sometimes it's hard, man. I'll be the
Is
first
it?
to say.
Yeah.
I will say, like, if I'm doing it, I'm not doing it intentionally. I'll be
Mm.
honest. It's just they gotta breathe sometimes, man.
Yeah.
And they
Then
stuck.
stand up.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
guess.
would say.
But like,
That's what
even
I
when
would
I
say.
stand up, I gotta do a little crouch,
Crouch.
like
A
you know,
crouch?
like a little,
What is that?
Like you're.
like a
What
little
is that?
squat, little
Oh.
squat.
A little
You know what I'm
squat.
trying
Why
to
do you
say
need
though.
a squat? When you have a wedgie?
Do you have a
man,
wedgie?
You guys understand what I'm trying to say?
I
right?
don't.
You guys don't.
Chris was just like,
I'm
Kind
nope.
of kind of get stuck to your thighs and stuff. You gotta like little.
So that's a wedgie, basically. Like you have a
Mm.
front wedgie.
No.
You know what you do? You swing your hips instead. That's what you're supposed to do. Gently swing your hips.
Really. Oh, while you're
Caribbean
walking.
by night, man. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
you should
yeah.
know this.
No, I was just trying to say, like when I'm walking, I do that sometimes. I'll just like do a little.
Right. Throw
Yeah,
the
a
hip
little.
out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do it. You can do it.
I mean, damn.
But
But
okay.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Like we gotta bring those groins together.
Yep.
we gotta bring the groins together, man. That's what it comes down to.
Bring
PSA.
bring
Bring-
the groins back home.
Bring the groins back home. That's right.
Bring them back home. I'd salute the groins before the troops any day.
Oh my god. That laugh is evil. Oh my god, I can't do that.
The viewers know.
Well, what about you, Chris? Though.
What has upset me? Tough one, man. I feel like I actually never have anything lined up. I never have anything lined up.
You're
I
a good guy,
usually,
man.
It's not because there's nothing that upsets me, because there's always things that upset me. You know what? Maybe you guys can relate. This one might be a little deep, but you know I'm gonna go
Go
there.
ahead.
anyways.
Go ahead.
This is something that a friend of mine brought to my attention, but she straight up asked me. She was just like, "Yo, do you think your parents believe in you?" And I was like, "Damn,
Wow,
that kind of
that
struck
is
me hard,
very
you know?"
deep.
And yeah, and I think without kind of diving, without maybe I'll backtrack it a little bit so we kind of work in like a small subsection. But like when it comes to parents or like family members or whoever you're living with, something that I struggle with is like is being asked to do something, being given like a large enough window, and like yes, my procrastinating ass is gonna leave it to the last minute,
Yeah.
but I promise I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But of course, when like I'm given the open deadline, I'm gonna take advantage of the
Yeah.
deadline. But oftentimes with my parents, they give me the open deadline, but they don't actually mean the open deadline. They
Yeah.
actually mean by the end of tonight, maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow. So that like lack of clear communication,
Mm.
and like of course I empathize on multitude of levels as to why this happens. But
Yeah.
I think very recently it caught me off guard. And I was like, if you want me to do it today, I feel like I just kind of like put my hands on my hips and was like, Mom, if you want me to do it today, just tell me to do it today. But I'm working through it. Again, we just having some better open dialogue now, trying to meet them with where they are at. But yeah, lately that was something that caught me off guard. I was like, yo, you guys gotta trust me on this one.
Yeah.
Mm.
I realize I'm procrastinating, but if you gave me till Friday,
Yeah.
It's
I
That's
only
get
an
it.
Thursday.
open
It's
window.
only Thursday.
Like you gotta
Exactly.
tell me, do it
Exactly.
today or do it
Fair.
now. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I hear
So
that.
that's my super update. Just trust the kids, man. Trust the kids.
I feel like
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Exactly. But hey, thanks a lot for letting me dish that one out.
Of course.
Friends,
No
I really
problem.
appreciate that.
open space.
Open
man.
space. That's right. Okay, we'll jump into our last segment here. This one, I'm gonna challenge you guys to be rapid fire with this one, but I promise I won't make them too hard. Okay, this segment is called Three-Peat. Shout out to Lil Wayne. This is where we ask you 3 questions in sets of 3. Try and answer them as quickly as you can, and we just try to learn something small about you in the process. Okay. So first question: 3 foods that you can cook perfectly every time.
Instant noodles.
Instantly.
Instantly. Oats.
Instantly.
Instantly. boiled water. There
Oh,
you go.
shit. Okay.
Wow.
All the time, it's perfect.
Damn.
Got it.
All
That's
right.
true.
If anyone has a Uber Eats code for Audrey, please send it his way. Latifah, how about you?
Salmon, eggs, and I'm gonna go with fajitas.
Fire.
Easy. What about you? 3 foods you can cook perfectly every time.
Oh, lobster bisque,
You're allergic to
pasta
seafood, dude.
rosetta,
Rosette. What
and
the fuck is that?
bread.
Damn, bread is
I
a
can make
winner.
Yo, bread is the winner, man. That shit
Hold
is
on,
hard
hold
to
on. Are you
pull
making
off.
bread or are you making
Trust me.
toast?
Making the whole bread.
Damn.
Bro,
That whole
making the
dough.
bread.
I thought it was gonna be toast because toast is
That's
toast
what
is
it
hard.
says.
Toast is hard.
Hard too.
Perfect, yeah.
So is making bread.
I was making bread.
So is boiling water, man. It's fucking art form.
Yo, it's hard, man. I'm making it from scratch. I'm not using the stove. I'm saying I'm literally boiling the water myself.
Wow,
Fair.
big.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
It's not-
true with
it's
your
not
bare
easy.
That's
hands.
amazing.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
my bare hands, man.
Wow.
Okay. 3 people that you want to interview on your podcast before it's all over. Before your time on this earth is done.
Oh my gosh.
You got 3 each.
Damn, that's a lot, man.
Dude, I don't even know. Okay, I'm trying to think on top of my head. Michelle Obama.
Fire.
Boom.
Who's the girl from?
Oh my God, Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, I was gonna say
How
that's
How
the
can I
one.
forget?
But who's the other one? She's directed this show.
She directed a show.
She's black.
Issa Rae?
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae.
Nice.
I would love to have her.
Sweet. Those are my 3.
Dave Chappelle for sure.
Yes.
Issa Rae, Dave Chappelle. Yo, gotta have Barack Obama. You know.
Barack Obama. All right, fair.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
Barack and
Big
Michelle on
dog.
together.
Yeah,
Easy. Phenomenal. Okay, and the last question for you is clearly I'm making these
Off the
Oh,
top,
good,
your head
man.
top.
What are 3 things that you've like yet to do in Toronto in Canada that you're trying to do in the next year?
Ooh.
I want to go skiing and snowboarding.
Okay,
I want to go to. Actually, want to check out Tobermory, man.
nice.
Bruce L. Pencil.
Yeah.
Peninsula, yeah,
Bruce
I wanna check that out.
Peninsula, for sure.
Definitely want to skydive.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, probably skiing as well. Just putting it out there, man.
Easy.
Got to do white people activities sometimes.
Brother,
Gotta
it
try
has
it out.
no race.
Aye.
It
Those
has
hills see no race.
It has
Exactly.
Snow is
no
Just see
race.
Snow is
fear
white.
and weak
Snow
legs.
is white. So is something else, but that has no
Whoa,
race.
whoa,
Fire. Fire.
Did you say 3? You said skiing, snowboarding. Is that
Skiing,
1?
snowboarding.
Did you also say Bruce Peninsula?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what else like I've missed out in Toronto or in Canada.
There's lots, you know. We'll figure it out. Did either of
ziplining.
you go to Carabana this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was alright. Like,
Okay. I've never gone.
fish man.
It's
If
really.
you're not a part of the parade, I
Yeah,
don't feel like
man.
it's
Fair
like
enough.
It's really
fun.
not
Yeah.
that great, to be honest.
From time spent in the UK, have you ever gone to Notting Hill?
Yeah. See
Okay.
that is a different story.
Right.
Just their setup is a lot better. Like there's no fences. Everybody's kind of welcome.
I see.
You follow floats. You don't have to be part of parade. Whereas what I thought with Carabana, it's like a little bit restricted.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Nottingham Carnival a lot more than
Okay.
Carabana.
True.
Yeah,
True. This is what I've also heard from folks who've been able to experience both.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
something on the bucket list for me.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Seen like some girls on cars just twerking up there. And
Going
I'm like,
hard.
damn, girl, okay, you do your thing. Do your
Yeah, do
thing.
your thing. Nivik was there too, you know?
Oh, you on the float?
no.
I really thought he was going to play
Damn.
along, but that's all right, man.
I,
No.
th-
Nivik
I
would not
thought
be
I
caught at
saw
Carabana.
you. I thought you looked very familiar.
Yeah, I was the guy twerking to every song that played there.
Damn, I knew
yeah,
it. I
I
knew
did
He
it.
was the guy who kept requesting
knew
control
it.
Tory Lane's version.
He's that guy.
Tory Lane's controller only.
Yo, Tory Lane's version, bro. What are you
Oh my
saying?
god.
But we've pretty
I was
much.
twerking to Teenage Dirtbag.
That'd be
Is that
fire.
like Weezer?
I can
That would
see
be
that.
fire.
I can see that happening.
That would not be good. That would be a problem. But listen, we've pretty much reached the end of this episode here. This has been an absolute treat to sit down with the two of you.
100%,
Thank you so
man.
much for joining us.
Thank you,
Tifa,
man.
Hadi, 2 Bs in a pod. This will be the 10th episode. Why don't you guys, you know what? Why don't you guys sign this episode out? Seeing
Damn,
it's a
man.
collaborative episode.
You want to take the lead?
Sure. Well, this was 2 peas in a pod connected to High Top Flip Flop
Mm.
with Chris And I'm so sorry.
Navek, man. No, we ruined it. It was great. It was
I
a great
literally
ending.
ruined it. It's so bad. I'm really bad with names, just so you know.
It's
You-
not. It's Nivek.
Navek.
Or you can just call him Tom Tyrese.
Oh
There
no,
you
I'm
go.
signing up. I'm sorry. I'm redoing that.
There
I'm
we
calling
go.
you Tamil Tyrese.
There we go.
Oh, that is what I want.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Go ahead, man.
Well, okay, we're signing off again. This is Two Peas in a Pod. I'm Latifah,
And I'm Hadi.
and we collabed with High Top Flip Flop with Chris and the Tyrese. No, the Tamil Tyrese.
There we go.
Wow.
Alright, yeah.
It's good enough.
Don't ever make me sign out again.
Yeah. But no, but on the real, man, thank you, man. I really do appreciate you guys having us on the platform. It means a lot to us, man. We're new to this, so
Yeah.
it's nice to hear you guys kind of like teach us
Oh,
and
man.
guide us. I appreciate it.
We're
Appreciate
far
you.
from teachers.
You
man.
smart.
Yeah, y'all smart, man.
Almost like we're giving you the baton of podcasting.
There we go, man.
Oh
yeah, giving us the
my
podcast
God.
fame.
Wow.
Is that so?
Huh?
Are we stopping today and just giving them the
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah. This is it,
iconic.
man.
Okay,
70
this is it.
end it here,
We're
man.
done.
Signing out,
This
guys.
Tired of this.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
But truly, thank you so much for sitting down, doing this collaborative episode here. These are always really fun. We're obviously very excited to see where Two Peas in a Pod kind of goes, and please know that Nivek and I are, always in your corner. We certainly hope to see the two of you out at our potluck. Saturday, September
100%.
September 14th.
Trust me.
Shameless plug once again.
If you're not there, you're a loser. Just saying.
Yep.
Easy. I mean, if you may have other obligations, other
No.
priorities, please take care of your, mental health and physical well-being. But, if you're feeling good, please come through, bring some food. Try and bring something maybe vegan-friendly, halal-friendly. Bring a baton to practice relay.
Mm-hmm.
Bring
Uno
that game that
cards.
like white people like playing in the park with the little trampoline and the ball, and they just like hit it off the trampoline.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
spike ball or something?
Spike ball, that's it,
Some
thank
shit
you.
like that, yeah.
What the heck?
bring your
Don't worry,
spike
don't
ball
worry, don't worry
games.
about it. You don't need to.
Bring your Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
Bring your earphones if you don't want to talk to anyone. Bring your AirPods
There
if
we
you
go.
want
Trying
to
to
kind of
stunt.
socialize but not socialize
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
stunt. What else can you bring? What else should people bring to the
Uno
potluck?
cards.
Bring Uno cards.
Bring some
That's a
good
good one.
energy, man.
Bring some.
Yeah.
Damn it! Bring some goddamn
Bring some
good
good
energy.
energy, man. That's what I'm talking
And
about.
shout out to all of our friends who are have jokingly told us that they're bringing shisha, but are not joking. They're definitely bringing shisha to the park. So bring your double apple,
sheesh.
double mint, OVO blends, whatever you want.
Great min up in
great.
here.
Yeah.
Take your request right now before our friends head to Scarborough and bring the truckload of the flavors. Man. But truly, come through Christie Pitts Park Saturday, September 14th, 1 to 5 p.m. We'll be there. We'll be chilling, and come say hello because we'd love to say thank you for listening to the show. But this has been episode 70. As always, I'm Chris, aka not Chris, aka Bash Me Outside because I don't fight, I just get beat up, aka Lil Poopy Dirt, aka Dr. Do Too Little, aka It's Not Me, It's Not You. We're just going through a tough time right now. As always, I'm here with Navek.
Hey, it's Nivek, aka Navape, aka Big Sion, aka the Tamil Tyrese, aka Big Cock,
Oh, what?
aka Big Cock.
There we go,
Oh
man.
my God.
And
Not me though. I'm not referring to myself as a big cock. I'm just saying big cock in general. I meant to say two cocks. We all make mistakes. I'm
Great save,
recognizing
man.
that now.
There we go, man.
As always,
well, damn.
well damn. As
Well,
always.
damn, man. That's
I'm
a
lost
perfect
for
way to
words,
end
man.
it,
This guy
man.
fucked me up. It's a big cock shit. What the hell? We have Hadi, we have Latifah. Thank you again for joining us for episode 70. Everyone say bye to the camera and say bye on the mic on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.